Welcome to another episode of Sports and Discourse with your host, Derek Stevenson. And on today's episode, unfortunately, we got to discuss another Kentucky loss this season. Kentucky has fallen to 9-5 overall, 0-1 in the SEC as we lost our opener to Alabama on the road. And I got to admit it, Alabama seems to have our number currently. Last year we couldn't do anything with Alabama, and this season has started off just the same. We shot 42% from the field, 21% from three. We had 9 assists and 11 turnovers. And if you remember last year when we were going over the games, most of our most successful offensive outputs, we were usually around 50% from the field. Sometimes we was 50 from the field and 50 from three. And we usually had 20 assists and lower turnovers. Maybe we might do 20 to 10 assists to turnovers. And this year, one of the things that has been sticking out with me, and Alabama's coach called it out, was he said Kentucky doesn't really pass the ball. He said especially when we feed the post, he said the only big man that really passes out of the post is Moreno. He said he might have had 4 assists, but he said all the other big men, they don't really pass the ball. So he was sending his guards to drop down and crowd up our big men every time they got the ball because they were going to try to score. And when you watch our games, it's a lot of one-on-one. We take a lot of bad shots. We got a lot of guys standing around watching, and it's too much dribbling. Last year, we had an excellent ball movement. We had guys doing backdoor cuts. We had big men that was bringing the ball up the court, feeding guards. We had ball movement around the perimeter, getting open threes. And this year, we're not really doing much of that. We still having some guys that numbers-wise are putting up some good numbers, but they're not as effective as they were last year. Otega-Oweh being one of them. He was way more effective last year, even though he's still putting up really good numbers. It's just getting to a point where I feel like the team is just not really, they don't really have an identity right now. Mark Pope is playing a whole lot of different lineups. I think guys really don't know what their role is right now. You have some guys like you had Cam Williams come off of a career game, and then, against Alabama, he's really not playing that much. And Mark Pope is saying that, based on the analytics, he didn't really fit into the rotation. And listen, what do I know? I'm not a coach. I'm not going to claim to know as much about basketball as Mark Pope. But I feel like at some point, you just got to go with the guys that's playing well at that moment. I know you might have watched tape and felt like you had it figured out which guys would play best against Alabama, but I feel like if you got a guy that just came off 28 points a game, he's excited, he's ready to go, I feel like you got to give him another chance to see if he can replicate something close to that. But like I said, I know we've had injuries to start this season, so the players haven't really had a lot of time to gel with each other, but it just looks really bad right now. It looks like they don't know what to do. It looks like the coaching staff doesn't know what to do. It just looks like everybody's a little confused. But anyways, let's get into some of these highlights and just see what we think about, some of the plays and why Alabama just for some reason always smacks us, and what we maybe can do to improve going forward. But like I said, man, it just, like right here, you catch Chandler open on the wing for a nice three. And Chandler has played pretty good this season. Um, he stepped up his game a lot, but it seemed like a lot of the other guys kind of plateaued a little bit, if you will. But one of the main things that I see when I'm watching these highlights is I feel like guys are out of position defensively a lot. Just like right there, I feel like Otega-Oweh got caught his man lost him, and then his help defense didn't see it. And same right here. Um, when the man took Diabate off the dribble, the help just got there too late. That was a strong defensive stance by Oweh, and then of course he used his strength, power to the basket for the and one finish like he does. But we just need more effort plays like this on defense. But we need everybody to be playing with that same type of intensity and urgency on defense at all times. See right here, we just got guys getting lost. Guys are not helping each other on defense. They're not rotating properly. It's like everybody's kind of just playing a little too laxed on the defensive end. Another, strong move by Ortega going to the basket. But yeah, see what I'm saying? Even though even though BG he had a nice recovery right there. I can't, take that away from him. But it's just guys are just getting lost too much. And Alabama's gonna shoot it. So you have to be paying attention. You have to be boxing guys out. You have to challenge the three because Alabama just lets it fly. That was a strong move by Quaintance. And I know that, Pope is trying to manage Jalen and Jaden's minutes, try to keep them healthy. I get it. But at this point, he might have to just go on and start them for the rest of the season and just see what they can do. Kentucky's just got to play with some effort, man. They have to. That was a strong move right there. I'm not going to lie. That was a big boy move. But he took his time. He used his strength. And sometimes I do feel like we rush. And that was almost a good defensive possession until right at the very end. They were moving good. They were helping each other, and then they just lost it at the very end and gave up an easy basket. Jalen penetrates pretty good. He gets to the he uses that pick and roll. He gets to the glass a lot. It's just the rotations on defense. The rotations absolutely killing us. It's tough to watch because it just seems like everybody's just in the wrong spot at the right time for Alabama. I know it's tough. I know Pope is trying to get guys involved. I know he's trying to play a lot of these people. But at some point, I think he's going to have to figure out what his top 8 players. He's going to have to figure out who he likes and roll with it and let everybody get comfortable. Alabama's really aggressive on offense, man. You have to be like ready to defend because they attack. They shoot from anywhere on the court. They attack the basket. They push. They got good pace, good tempo. Like I said, you have to be on your man. You can't. You gotta be ready to defend anywhere on the court. They're catching a lot of Kentucky's players relaxing on defense too much. See, it's like just right there, just knowing the way they like to shoot the three. I get it. He's a little bit deep. But the way these guys shoot it from anywhere on the court, you can't relax right there. As soon as they get the ball, You got to challenge it. You got to be ready to get up and make them put it on the floor. And when you do that, the rest of the guys got to be ready to rotate. They got to be paying attention. They have to rotate much earlier. They're rotating really late. They're letting guys get deep in the paint before they even come over to challenge. See, it's just like you got to be ready to step up and help right there. That was a nice drive by Aberdeen, by the way. See, I would have liked that instead of going out to the three, I would have liked for them to have challenged the basket on that fast break. Even though we ended up getting the bucket, but I just would have liked for them to both attack, put some pressure to try to get some fouls. That was a tough shot by Ortega right there. Nice shot, but a tough one though. All right, guys, I've seen enough. I can't watch no more of it. But anyways, we can wrap it up right there, guys. Like I said, Kentucky's defense, they're gonna have to work on their defense if they want to be able to compete in the SEC. They're not going to have too many games left where they're not going to have an opponent of this caliber. So they really have got to figure things out fast before it's too late. We already got 5 losses. We starting off SEC play with the loss. So these guys have got to figure it out quick. Mark Pope's got to figure out his lineups. He's got to get his offense going. Guys are just going to have to step up and accept the challenge and play defense. But anyways, you guys let me know what you think about Kentucky's performance overall this season. How disappointed are you? And do you think we have a chance to salvage the season? Let me know in the comments, and we'll get back at it next time on Sports and Discourse with Derek Stevenson.